The next morning, we changed everything. Instead of chasing whale sharks way offshore, we asked the captain to take us somewhere different. The closer reefs, the ones that barely see any divers. At the time, it felt like a small course correction. I had no idea that this decision was about to drop me into one of the strangest, most beautiful shark encounters I've ever had. We eased up to the side and tossed a look over the side. Instantly, you could see them, sharks. Their silhouettes slid just beneath the surface, circling the boat in lazy looping patterns. Not rushing, not hiding, just there waiting. I turned to the dive master and asked, "What are they doing?" He just looked back at me, shrugged slightly and said,
"Wait and see."
That's one of those phrases that on a shark dive can mean just about anything. We rolled off the boat and dropped into the blue. The second my head slipped under the surface, everything went quiet. No engine noise, no voices, just the sound of my own breathing and the faint crackle of the reef. And then the sharks closed in. They didn't hang back to the edge of visibility. They came right into the group, swimming alongside us like we were a part of the pack. One on the left, one on the right, one passing just below. No aggression, no panic, just a surreal, controlled energy. Like we stepped into someone else's choreography. That was the moment when nature felt like a fantasy. Hovering over the reef, surrounded by sharks that seemed almost coordinated. At the time, the dive masters there were working on something unusual. They were trying to train these sharks to hunt lionfish. Lionfish are gorgeous and absolutely terrible news for Caribbean reefs. They are an invasive species from the Pacific. Here in the Atlantic, nothing really preys on them. They eat a ton of juvenile fish and they don't belong in this ecosystem. So the plan was simple. Turn the sharks into lionfish predators. The dive masters would find the lionfish, spear it, and then feed it to the sharks. Lionfish equals food. Food equals sharks. Sharks hopefully equal fewer lionfish. What happened next felt like diving with underwater hunting dogs. The sharks started pointing. They would sweep ahead of us, then stop and hover their noses directly over cracks and overhangs of the reef, almost like they were saying, "Hey human, right here." The dive master would follow that nose, spot the lionfish, line up the shot, one quick thrust of the spear, and then the water exploded into motion as the sharks darted in to grab their reward. It was fascinating. They weren't just reacting to food dropping into the water, they were actively helping find it. I've worked with sharks for so many years, so I was comfortable in the middle of all of this. You can feel their personalities if you spend enough time with them. There was one smaller shark, clearly curious, always drifting just a little closer, circling wider loops around me and the camera. Then there were a couple of big adults, all business. No wasted movements, straight lines, focused eyes. You could tell they were here for the hunt, not the novelty. With every lionfish the dive master speared, the energy turned up a notch. Their movements got quicker, their turns a little sharper. Think about how your dog behaves when you get home after a long day. The bouncing, the wiggling, that full body rambunctious joy. Now translate that into shark body language. That's what the water felt like. Then we hit the jackpot. 3 lionfish all in the same patch of reef. The dive master moved in methodically and calm. One speared, then another, then the third. And that's when the sharks really lit up. They twisted and turned through the water in tight arcs, grabbing the lionfish one after another, bodies crossing, tails flickering, bubbles everywhere. The calm, slow circling of earlier turned into a true feeding frenzy, controlled but intense. The reef felt alive with emotion. In the middle of all this action, I noticed that small, curious shark breaking formation. While the others were locked onto the lionfish, he locked onto me, or more specifically, my camera. He made a wide pass in front of me, then another slightly closer, then another closer still, and I knew exactly what was happening. Sharks have these special sensory organs in their snouts called the ampullae of Lorenzini. They detect tiny electrical signals, muscles twitching, heartbeats, and in this case, the electronic hum of my camera. To him, my camera was basically a little electric storm in the middle of his reef. He'd probably never seen a diver before. He definitely didn't understand why his nose was tingling every time he swung past. Curiosity plus confusion, that's a powerful combination in an animal built to investigate things with its mouth. I knew it was coming. He turned, lined up, and came straight in. But this wasn't a high-speed charge. It was deliberate, measured, like he'd finally decided, okay, I'm going to figure this out. I wasn't anxious. I wasn't tense. After years with sharks, I knew this wasn't an attack. It was a question. So as he approached, I slowly extended my camera toward him. He swam right up and bumped the housing with his snout, and you could almost see the moment it clicked. That's where the tingle is coming from. Mystery solved. He veered off smoothly, no thrashing, no repeat hits, and slipped right back into the chaos of the feeding frenzy, as if nothing had happened. And for a moment, it felt like I'd given a shark a puzzle and he'd used my camera to solve it. That was another moment when nature felt like a fantasy. Hovering over the reef, sharks swirling all around, and one small curious hunter just tried to understand why the world suddenly felt so strange on the tip of his nose. And the frenzy? It was far from over. You'll have to come in next week when we do the full-on frenzy, and you're gonna see G do something you've never seen before. I assure you. Click that like button and subscribe so you won't miss the next issue, because I promise you it's good. And we'll see you here next time on Undersea G.